going on, traders? This is Jack with the Trading Tribe, and today we are back at it with another swing trade idea, or kind of my thought process behind my most recent swing trade. And I actually just got into the S&P 500 futures again. So it's going to be pretty similar to my idea that I had a few weeks back where I went through my swing trade on the ES. That was actually mid-trade, so as the trade was actually working, I recorded that prior video. Today we'll kind of go through my next swing trade. So I actually took profit on that trade and ended up re-entering this week. Or this past week, if you will. So excited to share everything. If you find value in this video, feel free to hit the like and subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more content coming on a weekly basis here that'll line up pretty similarly with the videos that have been coming out on the channel. So excited to bring more value to the group and review kind of this next idea. This could take a few weeks to shake out. I know we've got quite a few economic announcements coming out. Next week we actually have a rate announcement, so we'll see. Right, this upcoming week towards the latter end of September is probably going to be pretty wild in the markets, and we'll kind of review the trade overall. So the ES this entire 2023 has really been rebounding really nicely. So if we look at like the 180-day chart, right, we can see that we've been super bullish, right, on the ES. We can look at the SPY on the stock market exchange, or we can look at the futures market. So I'm looking at the micro contract for the ES, but very similarly, if we just looked at /ES, we'd see a very similar chart, right? So very clearly uptrending on the ES market or on the S&P 500 market. We're seeing pretty similar moves on the NASDAQ market, but with a little bit more volatility. So typically when I swing trade the US stock market, I'll express that idea in one of the S&P 500 markets just because it moves a little bit more steady and the rate of returns are a little bit lower on the ES side, but I actually like the price action a little bit better. And really, this entire year, I've been taking swing trades on the ES. So, like I mentioned right a few weeks back, if you go back and watch that last swing trade idea video, I actually took a very similar trade. So, I've taken this same idea over and over again this year, but it's really been waiting for confirmation. So, waiting for those higher highs to develop as well as those higher lows. So, if we zoom in and drop down to like the 20-day chart, this is a pretty good way to just look at the market itself, right? We've had some pretty big moves up. We've had some pretty nasty dives down on given days. Actually, Friday of last week was pretty nasty as well. So we had a pretty big sell-off. And it wasn't really caused by news. I think it was more just we were at overbought levels and we kind of came back to that equilibrium. And that's actually where I took the trade. So going into the close on Friday, I noticed that that downtrend that we just looked at was kind of coming to a close. We actually broke above the moving average or the 200-day moving average on my chart for the first time ever since really that morning session. And so I looked at that as almost that downtrend momentum slowing down. And that's actually where I entered the swing trade. And my idea here is pretty simple. So if we look at this chart here, right, I got in on this dip. I've gotten in on all of the prior dips as well in this market with a stop loss under that last low. So if you're confused on how I trade uptrends, right, I have another video actually breaking down how to trade uptrends and examples of uptrends. But a lot of the time, right, when we get that higher high, that's our signal, right? That's our signal that there is still bullish momentum, right? And we get that subsequent pullback, right? We get that higher low ideally. And as that low is forming, consolidating, and beginning to show forms of, consolidation and of momentum changing, that's typically where I'll take my entry. Took the exact same trade the week before that and the week before that, and we're essentially aiming for at least those last highs. So in this case, right, if we use our trend line tool here, we can measure this out. and this is at least right a 70-point move. And so it depends on what market you're trading here, but 70 points, right, is $350 per micro contract. It's way more than that, right, on the ES contract. So it depends what contract you're looking at. The ES contract is multiple times larger. So depending on really how you're trading this, that is really the profit potential here. The risk to reward is also really great because if we zoom out, this move can potentially go and tap those highs from the year. So the move can actually go and make a pretty substantial move in the next couple weeks here, and it really has the capability of going about 140 points up. And with us risking only 47, that's a really nice R to R, right? That's over a 3-to-1. We've had confirmation, right, of higher highs and higher lows all month. So the month of August really was a pretty nasty sell-off. But now we've had confirmation of buyers for weeks, right? So taking this trade, there still is a great form of risk here. So be a little careful if you do end up entering. Make sure you wait for confirmation here. And my idea, right, is for it to at least get above those highs, and that's when I'll start actively managing it and trailing my stop up and getting out right when that momentum does turn. So we don't expect it, right, to go straight up to those highs. If it does, right, we will definitely try to capture the meat of that move. But hopefully this helps, right? This is my actual trade, right? You can see my stop loss is actually in. So this is a good till canceled stop loss within the market. And so even though it's a Sunday, right, we can see that order is still active, and my entry order was right off of that lower high. So we'll see. I'll follow up with the group here on kind of how this trade shakes out. Ideally this week we get that rate adjustment, or that no rate adjustment, if you will, with the news release, and hopefully that acts as a positive catalyst here to kind of shoot us higher in the markets. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Hopefully this swing trade idea here on the S&P 500 helps, and good luck trading this week.